All right, Matt Rollens, welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude. And it's been about a year or so, maybe more, since we saw each other.
Yeah.
You came to our Limitless meetup that we host. And so that was super cool for me to meet you. You are in the e-commerce space.
Right.
And basically, you make these and sell these. Well, you don't make them, right?
Not personally.
Yeah, not personally, but you're responsible for this, and
right.
you sell these. At the time when I talked to you last year, I think you were doing a lot of Amazon, and your brand is called Dragon Glassware.
Right.
It's pretty cool. I love the logo. I love the vibe. I love the packaging. Everything you do here is really cool, man. I think it's going to be a really fun episode to have you on and talk about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, obviously, we could talk about how to get started in e-commerce and stuff like that. I think it'd be cool to kind of dive into the details a little bit.
Yeah.
And kind of I'm kind of more interested in okay, how do you get, a glass manufactured in a very specific and unique way?
Right.
Okay, I'm going to sell these glasses, right? So maybe we'll start kind of there, assuming you already know you want to do this or that. Where does somebody start with figuring out how to get something made custom product wise?
Yeah. Well, I saw this opportunity in the kitchen space. I started the company, I think, kind of mid 2016. I saw the opportunity selling on Amazon through the FBA program.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we've talked about that before.
Fulfillment by Amazon.
Yeah. So, it's basically you send in your products to Amazon fulfillment centers. When you receive orders, Amazon picks, packs, and ships it for you.
It's like their own drop shipping system in a way?
Basically, yeah, in a way. Yeah. So, your inventory is at Amazon, and they're responsible for all that, and to some extent the customer service. So it really frees you up to focus on marketing and production and all the other millions of things you could be doing.
Right.
You're not worried about delivery so much.
Yeah, which is a huge thing.
Yes, it is.
Because you might have to have a warehouse and staff people to pick and ship orders and all that, and that's a big headache for sure. So
4 years old.
I guess about 4 years old now. Yeah. This will be I guess our fourth. I kind of measure it by Christmas.
That makes sense.
Because Black Friday, Q4.
That's when you're selling them.
Yeah, I mean that's majority. We're very giftable, so people
that's true.
love buying our products over Christmas. Okay, so anyway, to get back to your question.
Yes, I know. It's good.
Yeah, so it came down to looking for manufacturers, and I am kind of a big proponent of looking at China because, well, number one, they're very easy to work with. So when in the beginning, I found factories and suppliers that could create products for you through Alibaba, so Alibaba.com. What's really great about them is, working with a factory in China, is that they're willing to work with you for really small MOQs, which is minimum order quantity. So if you have an idea or something, and you have let's say you have a sketch,
You want to try it out.
You could have something made. You could even have a sample made, literally one piece made for a minimum amount of money. And then even an order, you can have a 500 quantity order or a 1,000 quantity order, which is really, really small. It really depends on the product, obviously, but if you try to get stuff made in other places, they might want 100,000 units, minimum order. Yeah. So when you start out and you have limited funds, it's cost prohibitive basically. And they're just very responsive. I've never really had a bad experience working with factories in China, just because they're willing to work with you.
It's it's like a good sandbox.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then can you actually work from a sketch? They'll work from a sketch, or how detailed you got to get?
Yeah, I mean, I think that comes down to in every there's literally thousands of factories over there. So,
well, in your case, let's just talk about your case.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, with our facility now, it really can be we can sketch something out, and they have a whole engineering staff, and they can put something together.
Got it.
We can work on it together, but it's you don't necessarily have to have a CAD 3D model or something made.
Right.
It's going to depend a little bit on the capabilities of the factory.
But it sounds like if they have factories there with engineers on hand, it's kind of wow, it sounds like white glove manufacturing.
Yeah, and I mean, China's really known for which is a good thing and a bad thing, because there is the whole issue with counterfeiting, and that's a lot of the counterfeits do come from China, and that's actually something that they're well known for, because they're really good at duplicating things. They're not necessarily the best at creating new things. So if you have the new novel idea, they make such a good partner, because they can come in and be like, yeah, we can make that. We know we can. Once they see it, they can. At least that's my experience.
Right.
I don't think that's necessarily always the case.
Right.
But it's pretty miraculous, really, being able to draw something. Well, kind of like the martini glass here. So that's our double-walled cocktail martini glass. And that was something that, I basically kind of sketched that out after looking at. Oh, go ahead.
No, it's really nice. It's like well, first of all, what's your website? So dragonglassware.com.
Yeah,
you could go check all this out, but basically what I'm holding here is a martini glass, and like you said, double wall.
Right.
And so I'm holding on to the outside wall, and then imagine like an upside down cinder cone. Yeah. An upside down cone inside an upside down cone.
Yeah, it's a glass within a glass.
Yeah,
and that's one of our specialties. So it's really cool because it insulates it, and it gives it that really cool look where it's kind of floating in air.
Right.
Actually, that glass. Do you guys watch Westworld on HBO? Have you heard that show?
But I feel like I saw you post on social media about it being. It was like on an episode or something.
It was on an episode of this last season, actually. Nice. It was really cool because so the production company that does that show, it's the Rollens. So Jonathan Nolan, who did Batman, Inception.
Whoa.
And he has his main prop set decorator that I think he uses most of the time. He went out and found these. I think they found them on Amazon. I'm actually not entirely sure. But they were looking for, it's a scene in a bar in the show, and the show's a sci-fi show, and they were looking for something for the characters to hold while they're talking that looks kind of futuristic. And
they just stumbled upon you?
They stumbled upon that, yeah.
It's beautiful. And I love the bubbles in there. See, because it's carbonated.
Kombucha that looks cool, yeah.
That's neato, man.
That's the thing too with glasses. It's like we market them as maybe like a cocktail martini, but you can put anything in there. You can drink milk or soda out of these. It doesn't really. That's more for like an SEO situation. Especially on Amazon, it's all keyword driven. But yeah. So anyway, it really is. If someone was going to start a physical product business, I would say start with China first, or start with Alibaba first. It's such a great resource. To get going. Yeah, and you can go, that's, you start out doing it yourself, and then eventually you can hire like a sourcing agent, which is someone that's on the ground in China, and you can tell them, hey, we're looking for a factory that can make, this widget. Can you give us, go vet them, and they'll drive there, and they'll go to the factory, and they can talk to the people right there on the ground, and have samples made and present, and then tell you, okay, this factory can do this for this price, and
that's nice. So it's your not middleman, but it's an agent.
Exactly. And they usually take like a small cut when you place an order and all that. Yeah. But like that's like the next step up, I would say, the next level. If once you start wanting to diversify away from doing all the main tasks. Yeah.
So at this point in the game, it's like ratio wise, I think is a good way to ask this question. Like how much are you selling on Amazon versus your website?
Yeah, Amazon is huge.
Yeah. So it's like a big portion.
Oh, it's massive. It's between 80 to 90%.
Wow.
Yeah. You can really approach e-commerce in two ways. So our site's built with the Shopify platform, which I think most people know what Shopify is now. It's great. It's wonderful.
The stock has done very well for me this year.
Yeah, right?
I hope it stays that way.
I know, right? Dude. Yeah. No, tech in general is insane. Great platform. The advantage to the Amazon is they already have all the traffic. Right. Because so you either kind of be more of an Amazon-based business or your own website business. And the difference would be, you can have your own website, have better margins and all that, but you have to, pay for the traffic. It's up to you.
Yeah. You're making a new micro marketplace just for your products.
Yeah. So it takes a lot more investment. I think at this point, now that it's been a few years and we've had success, we're definitely investing more into our own website now because we can drive our own traffic. But when starting out, it was a shoestring budget, and it's like there's no way I can afford to, especially when you have a new product that doesn't have social proof, reviews and all that kind of stuff, or even repeat customers. The nice thing too about Amazon is, you'll get customers that buy on Amazon, but then they'll come back to your website and buy from you. Like they're like, oh, these were great. I'm going to support them directly.
Yeah.
So that's helped a lot too.
That is really interesting. I have a feeling in maybe another handful of years, I think you're going to start, it sounds like you're going to start widening that slice of the pie that's the sales through your own website.
Yeah.
And start leveraging those bigger margins, keeping more of the profits, hopefully.
Yeah, it's always good to diversify regardless, either through Amazon or your own website, or there's Walmart.com is coming up.
Yeah.
I think they've invested, millions this year.
Are they making a marketplace now?
Yeah, they have. They do have a marketplace. It's not quite as structured and nice as Amazon's. Amazon's is so turnkey at this point, but they're trying to. They're really, it's cutting into Walmart's business, so they're heavily investing
fighting back.
It. Yeah, and they have Walmart Plus now, which is a lot like Amazon Prime. So I think that might be. I would say within the next 5 years, we're going to see a lot more market share taken away from Amazon through Walmart. I think that's going to be another great marketplace to potentially sell.
I'm wondering, too, regarding Amazon. In my mind, okay, like obviously Amazon's massive. It's like one of the biggest companies on the planet.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay. But it really hit me recently. I was like watching some like a TV series on their Prime Video app, and it's crazy because I realized really quickly, wait a minute, like Prime Video, like your app, is just the only reason you have that is because you can have original content that you run your own ads on. Like they literally just primed people, like pun intended now, I guess, to. Like you're watching an episode and then it'll like an Amazon commercial will come up and they'll try to like get you to buy a product with your Alexa, which I don't even have, but it's like, wow, they're like really leveraging their audience.
That's true.
And I think I counted, like if you watch one episode, you see the Amazon logo like 5 times. Like you see it in the beginning when the app starts up. You see it like in the beginning of the episode.
Right.
You see it like 2 or 3 times during the commercial, and then at the end you see another. Like you see the Amazon logo. Like you get like 7 points of Amazon contact just from like watching one thing. And it's, I guess where I'm going with this is they're really digging their roots in deep. Amazon is.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to where you're going to sell your product, choice of marketplace. I'm kind of curious if you have a product that competes with one of their products, how well that's going to bode for you.
Sorry, sounded like my headset was cutting out.
Yeah, but it depends how close you are. I don't know.
Your foot might be on the. There you go.
Yep, it's better.
Good.
Now. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so that is a big thing. Amazon has the Amazon Basics line of products. God, we could talk forever about Amazon and all the antitrust stuff that's going on. They're kind of in the middle of this this issue of maybe getting broken up. Congress is after them for different things, and that's such a huge long topic. And I think
well, we could keep it short and just say your product is unique enough. I don't think that they would go as far as be trying to make like unique glassware.
Yeah, that's
like something that they can get like off the shelf, like white label style.
Right,
they're going to probably do.
And that's happened to a lot of sellers that I know. They might have something exactly that's very not defensible,
generic.
Yeah. And Amazon, they've been accused of looking at sales data from their own third-party sellers, and like, oh, look, this blanket's selling really well. We can source that and sell it cheaper, and they know it's going to sell because they have the data.
Our logo on the tag.
Yeah, right. So that's a little bit of an issue, and they've been facing some scrutiny over that. I would say if you were going to launch products on Amazon, one of the things that I did, was create really unique products that are much more defensible that way. I have patents now too.
Ooh.
And that's probably the best way to protect yourself.
Right.
So, I think the more unique, the more niche you get too. Mm-hmm. If you're going after things like, really generic commodity products, like maybe phone cases or something, that's going to be really, plus there's going to be a lot more competitors.
Right.
In general too, I think there's a huge opportunity in doing products that are niche, that aren't that are harder to do, you know, like that are like, so like for glass, like, you know, it's big, it's heavy, they break. So a lot of people don't want to spend the time, you know, it's a lot, and they're expensive to manufacture.
That one looks like it has some good thickness to it.
Yeah, this is actually this one has probably one of the stronger in terms of in the box.
Right.
Because you got to remember, like, you know, UPS picks these up and they're throwing them to customers. Yeah, certain things are more fragile, like, you know, and so we've actually been improving. That's been a big.
Because you've probably had one break, some of them break.
That's our number one return reason, or our number one customer.
Yeah,
it showed up broken, and you know, it's obviously that's going to happen. But yeah, we're improving.
Ups just catapulted it into their freaking front yard.
Oh yeah, and sometimes they'll just slap like that box there. They'll just slap the shipping label on it and ship it out like that.
Oh man,
with no boxes. So we're basically assuming now, like, okay, it's going out like that. So what can we do? So we're putting in, like, you know, we're it's called EPE foam packing. So it's like that really heavy duty, like it's like a cutout and it sticks in it versus just bubble wrap, which is kind of the old school way that we were doing it. So, you know, that's the things you learn, I guess, as you go along. Yeah. But I think having really defensible products that are not super easy to bring in, smaller things like, I don't know, like silicone coasters or like, phone cases, I think is the classic example. You can just have, you know, 10,000 units air shipped in one carton.
Right.
You know, and it's like, oh, wow, that's like 3 months worth of inventory right there in one box. You know,
right.
And it's super cheap, super easy to do that. You know, my stuff, it's we're bringing in 40-foot containers, and that's like maybe like half a month, you know, depending on for one SKU.
Right.
You know, so we're bringing in like dozens and dozens of containers, and, and they have to be unloaded, and it's, you know, one container has maybe 600 cartons, and one carton maybe has 30 sets of the wave tumblers in it.
Right.
And we want to bring 1,000 of those in. So, you know, you start doing the math, and it's massive. And I think that's where the opportunity is, though, for products. If you were going to launch now on Amazon, is to look for things that people don't want to do. And I think, and it doesn't have to be necessarily like a home run amazing product that is, or I shouldn't say amazing, I should say more mass appeal. It
just like like something that has a higher bar to entry.
Higher, yeah, exactly. Just you're building a moat. You know, it's the moat analogy around yourself. And I really believe if you have a good product at a good value with good customer service, you'll be successful.
That's
on
interesting.
Amazon.
They make it that easy.
They do, because the customers are there. It's
they are.
Yeah, you know, it's relatively simple to spend advertising dollars on Amazon, that's the majority of our ad spend is on Amazon ads, because, you know, you figure people are on Amazon to shop.
Can you target?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you target by keyword primarily, but they're adding stuff now where you can target customers based on interests and things like that.
More Facebook style.
It's not quite as robust as Facebook, but you figure people are on Amazon to shop, so it's a lot better conversion that way. We're still playing around with Facebook and Instagram ads. It's a little different because people aren't necessarily on there to shop. You have to really get their attention, and they're going to have to click and want to go. You know, to your page, and usually we drive to our own website for that, because there's no way to do pixeling
on Amazon.
So we have no way to like retarget and stuff off Amazon that way.
That's interesting.
So yeah, we'll have them.
How's like the cost for acquisition, like
on Amazon?
Yeah, like I mean, it sounds like you've done Facebook marketing before, or at paid ads before. I mean, like how does that compare? In your experience, I guess it probably depends on how good you do it, obviously. So.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's a good thing and a bad thing because it's not as complex. So like the copy and the ads are all generic. It's not like you can't upload your own imagery necessarily. So you advertise like our wave tumblers, and you just target like wine glass, stemless wine glass, gifts for women or whatever. Okay. And it just shows
they have like the tags already kind of made.
Yeah, and you see the ad, and it looks just like a listing. Like when you type in, if you type in wine glass, usually the first row is all sponsored products.
Right.
And it's targeted by keyword, and they look just like a normal listing, and in the little corner will say sponsored.
You pay per click?
Yes, it's pay per click. Yeah, exactly. So,
but here's the thing about Amazon pay per click is it takes you, like, okay, if I were to click on that sponsored listing, that's really what it is. It's really a product listing that's sponsored.
Right.
It's not an ad as much. I mean, it is.
Yes.
It's a prioritized listing placement.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Google style.
For the sponsored products, yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
So the thing is, when you click that, it takes you straight to the product, and you're literally like a thumb swipe away from that thing showing up on your doorstep tomorrow.
Yeah. So there's much less friction.
Right. So what I'm saying is less friction for the customer.
Yeah.
Like the likelihood of them buying that product versus if they click on a Google ad and it takes them to a product page, I feel like is like way more likely.
That's what we've seen. Yeah. That's why, really investing heavily in Amazon ads.
Yeah, friction. That's a good word.
Yeah, it really is. It's, we've had, like print advertising reach out to us, like magazines and stuff like that, giving us like holiday placement and stuff. And it's really expensive. And it's like, yeah, but it could work well. But, there's no way to really track it unless you have like a coupon code.
I don't have print anything.
And it's, you get, say, even if
who's getting that?
Well, like there's, I think there's a place for it depending on the product. I think it depends on your margins and the more expensive products, maybe like, if you're selling like a $3,000 refrigerator or something, it makes sense.
Right. Are you getting like magazines reaching out?
Yeah.
Like niche magazines?
Yes. Like, yeah.
Like whiskey magazines and stuff like that?
Similar. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've looked at it and it's tough because we are such an online play. You can't just go down to Walmart and buy them right now. We only sell online. So they have to, they see the little ad and it has our website. So they have to go to their computer, type in it. You know what I mean? It's just, there's more and more friction versus more of just like an impulse buy. Like, oh, those are cool.
Yeah.
Our price point, our most expensive product is our decanter set. I don't have it here. And that's $69.99. But the majority of our products are $30 or less.
Right.
So it's $29.99.
So pretty much most of these are all $30 or less.
Yes. Like the espresso cups are $15 for a set of 2.
Okay.
So it's in a way it's an impulse buy. People will just like, oh yeah, cool, those are great, buy them.
Well, they're great gifts, by the way. So if you're listening and you can't see these, just go to dragonglassware.com. Once again, I'm probably going to say that a few more times because they're cool. And like Matt said at the beginning of the show, they're super giftable, and I can tell by holding them, just looking at them and holding them. And they have the cool dragon logo on the bottom of them, which I really appreciate. They're not being like, even though they are. I don't see made in China.
Oh yeah. No, of course.
That just okay. Like I don't care if they're made in China. I just don't want to read that they're made in China.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like they feel premium.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too. There's a little bit of a stigma with that. With there are those factories in China that are probably producing dog crap kind of stuff. But like the factory that we use, we have people there that have been glass blowers for 20, 30 years. Like they're experts. Like they're really, really good.
And by the way, I was not alluding to...
Oh, no, I know. No, I totally get it. It
was just like the thing of having that written on everything is like, for some reason, it's bothersome to me. I'm just like, it doesn't have to be printed on everything.
Yeah. Well, it is a requirement on packaging.
Okay.
So it's on the packaging below the barcode.
That's right.
That's just, if you didn't have that and you tried to import it, customs would...
You just reject it.
Yeah, they'd reject it you'd have to go to the port and put stickers on it. It's just, you have to have country of origin on anything that you import into the U.S. So, but the logo on the glass turned out pretty well, I think, because I wanted to make sure it was really understated and classy. Right. Because sometimes you'll see stuff that have these giant ugly logos, and you're like, I don't want that on my glass.
Right. No, it's rad, dude. Like I want to put on like an all black suit and drink my drink from this.
There you go. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I'm wearing the shirt right now, actually.
Yeah,
and we sell apparel now on our site. We've had so many customers like, I want to buy a hat with that logo, or I want to, either the Dragon logo.
It's cool. I would wear a hat with that on it.
Yeah. So we have,
and I'm picky.
We have a whole apparel line now, just shirts and hats and like just some real classy, simple stuff. But because people just want to, they like the design of it. So I'm like, cool, let's do it.
So hire a good graphic designer too.
Yeah. That's I have a little unfair advantage there. That was my my first major in college. I was a graphic design major.
Did you do it yourself?
I worked on
or at least the beginning of it.
This emblem, yes. The dragon logo, I also worked on with another designer. So a lot of it, so that helps.
Take note, listeners and viewers. So Matt, graphic designer, is leveraging. He's not committed to just being a graphic designer. He's like, I'm just going to use this and leverage it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's beautiful. Like the branding is done really nicely, in my opinion.
Well, I think having a background is really helpful. Like I understand, I'm not an expert, and I've definitely hired people now that are way better than me. But it's nice having that background, knowing Photoshop, knowing Illustrator.
Well, you're good enough to be dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that helps, even, you'll get designers will send you, AI files back, and I can actually open it and look at it and make sure it's vector, all these little things like that. And I'm like, and that definitely helps. I would say, if you're going to do this, I think taking some graphic design courses would be really helpful just to have, so you can speak their language. And it just helps to give you an eye for our, artistic, inspiration and stuff.
How many times has your packaging changed, the visual of it in the past 4 years?
Very little, actually. That's pretty much how it's been.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We have a new line of glass. I actually have kind of a cool product coming out. It's actually going to be a cannabis decanter. So it's in the shape of a marijuana leaf.
Whoa.
With whiskey glasses. So, you can fill it with whiskey or wine or whatever. But
nice.
yeah, it's really cool. But the packaging is going to look like that, but it's going to be more of a green, like the gold foil on there, where the shiny gold, that will be green.
Green foil?
Yeah.
I like that.
And so I'm trying to keep, a cohesiveness to everything.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we also have these iridescent glasses coming out. They're stemware. There's a stem wine glass and a stemmed champagne glass. So they're traditional stemmed glasses, but they have this iridescent sheen to them, kind of like a rainbow sheen. And the packaging is multicolored, and it's the same kind of general look, but using different colors on it and stuff. But I want to keep it all looking very cohesive, and I've been very happy with how it looks. I think it's held up pretty well.
Have you guys been with tracking like repeat orders, or repeat customers?
Yeah, you can see that on Amazon a little bit.
Okay.
You definitely see it more on your Shopify page.
Yeah, of course.
We also, we offer a warranty. We have right now it's a 1-year warranty on everything. And to register for it, you put in your email address on our website, so we collect email that way to see, and then people will come back and we can see repeat customers that way and see exactly what they bought, and then we can retarget them with email marketing and stuff like that.
Nice.
We have a VIP group on Facebook, which is, it's you just request to join, and that's for on there we do all kinds of giveaways, and that's new product launches, did surveys.
Smart. Yeah.
And that's really like the people that are really invested in the brand, because there are a lot of customers that like, hey, I bought this, but I want to get this one now, and then they end up buying everything, and they have everything, and they're like, okay, what else?
And then they probably gift them a lot too.
They gift them a lot too. Yeah. We did a survey on the VIP group for what are you guys looking for next? Like, what do you think we should make? And the number one answer was coasters, and glass coasters. Did I step on something?
Oh yeah, it's loud.
Oh.
Can you
I'll
check that?
check the door.
No, it's not that. It's the module.
Oh, I'll take a look at it.
So you have a VIP Facebook group, and so do you manage that yourself?
No, I actually have a social media manager.
Nice.
Yeah, she's great. That was actually my first real hire. Was that was something I'm not an expert in at all, for sure. And she is, and yeah, she manages our social media and our PR, the VIP group, and all that stuff. We're working a lot now on reaching out to influencers and trying to get more influencers involved with the brand. That's a whole brave new world now, especially with COVID and stuff too. I think there's even more opportunity on there, leveraging social media to, have that social proof. People actually, and we want to send out, freebies to them and let them actually try out the products and show their audience. And
that is cool.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's see. What was something else I was going to ask? I was going to ask, I don't know. I forgot.
So you had mentioned that you even do like polls and stuff. I mean, how's that working out? Like, did the coasters work out, or?
They're coming out for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was the number one most requested product. It was kind of a free form poll, just write in what you wanted, and yeah, coasters took the cake. So I was, I wouldn't have thought that, and I was like, oh, that's great. Yeah, let's make. So we're making. They're coasters that have kind of a diamond edge to kind of go along with our diamond glasses. This is our best selling product, is our diamond glasses. So we have kind of a little bit of a collection. We have the full size diamond glass. We have a shot glass size. And then we have little whiskey stones that are reusable. That's actually our one of our only non-glass products. It's a stainless steel reusable ice cube you can put in the freezer.
Do they have something in them?
Yeah, it's kind of a cooling mix in them that gets cold, and they stay colder than regular ice for longer, and they don't dilute your drink because they don't actually melt.
Right.
Yeah, so that's really cool. So yeah, we have kind of a whole diamond collection. So the diamond coaster would be part of that now.
Cool. That's cool. And this, you just put it any way you want.
Yeah, it just rests on
one side.
That's
Anyway.
really cool. I could see why it's the most popular. I mean, I kind of like all of them. I like the espresso cups too, but because it's like it sits diagonally.
Yeah, it's very different. And yeah, that's kind of the goal, was to create things that are, you couldn't just go down to Target or Walmart and find.
Right.
Really unique.
That's the glass that you impress your dinner party friends with.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying? And maybe the martini glass next after that.
Mm-hmm.
But the martini glass feels a little closer to normal than the diamond glass
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
So it seems like you found like this power base, like this like niche audience that really enjoys your product.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like if you keep developing like products on the unique side of the spectrum, that your customer base is going to eat them up.
Yeah, I would say that's the secret sauce. I mean, it's because there are, if you look up glasses, they've been around for how many thousands of years,
Right.
and there's only so many ways to skin a cat that way. So, I'm trying to create new things that are different shapes, different designs. Yeah, because exactly, there's so many types of wine glasses, but how many wine glasses have, ridges or something different? So just trying to create new stuff.
Did I put all the wave tumblers over there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We'll pull one out afterwards. And
Yeah, they're cool.
And I think that's the best way to differentiate, no matter what product you have, no matter
Right.
what kind of business you have. Like I said before, if you have something unique and different, and it's good quality and good price and excellent customer service, that's huge.
Did you start out doing your own inventory, like in your garage or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, I had it. I started out importing everything literally to my garage, kind of upgraded to a storage facility, kind of like a place where people would buy for, just having overflow stuff in their house.
Right.
Keeping
Yeah.
because we have, like I said, they come in these big giant cartons, and you have hundreds of them, so it outgrows your garage really quickly. It's going to depend on the product, but I think, as you get bigger, and if you're selling bigger stuff, you're going to need the room. And then now we have a whole warehouse facility that basically manages all of our inventory now, and that's down in Long Beach, and it's right by the port of LA,
Nice.
which is the big port where everything comes in. So that's the great thing about this kind of business too, is you can run it anywhere once you have it that
system
way.
set up. Yeah.
It's more expensive that way. I did a lot of that, having it come to my house or come to locally here, because it was very cost effective. But eventually it's just not scalable.
Right.
If you want to keep scaling, you're going to have to leverage like a third party warehouse to really help you out with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially with your product, because you need the airspace
Yeah.
around the product to keep it safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, it's not just like a stack of like cards or something.
Yeah, and it was I was out there palletizing myself, sending in pallets to Amazon, and spend hours and hours,
Wow.
stacking boxes and like lifting them, and like waiting for UPS to come pick them up, and it's like, that's, and then you start to realize, like, okay, well, this isn't really worth my time. Like, I should be building, not working in the business, working on the business.
Yeah,
And that's a thing that I really had to learn.
And you probably are at that point now more than ever.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get more and more away from that, trying to get away more and more from just doing the daily tasks, and trying to work more on big picture tasks.
Development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that happens just naturally as you have the cash flow and the
And the
track
ability
record.
to hire people with
Yeah.
the money that you have now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many people you got on board now? So you got your social media person. Is it just you and her? Do you got more people than that now?
I would say it's mainly just then there's 2 customer service people
Okay.
that answer emails and all that, and then a part-time graphic designer.
Right. And then Amazon's doing all the most of the fulfillment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to keep it really, really small that way in terms of labor. I like having a smaller group of people versus trying to build it into like a 100-person company or something, which I think you could do.
Yeah.
But then it becomes, more about managing people and not so much about managing the business in a way.
Right.
And I think that's a point where you got to decide how big of a company you want to become too. There's some point where you really can't do it all on your own after you're doing 50, 100 million a year or something. It's like
Yeah.
impossible.
Right.
But do I want to become big of that? I don't know yet. I'm still kind of in that growth phase.
Well, you're in year 4. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at it big picture, it's like year 4 is like the beginning of anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's still really new. And yeah,
Oh no, sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, I was just saying, we're growing year over year. Our biggest time is Christmas, so it's coming up, Q4 here. That usually accounts for about half of our sales for the entire year for November, December.
Does that make you nervous?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Sorry, I poked the soft spot.
Yeah. Well, especially this year, there's with COVID, there's been a lot of weird logistics issues with space on container ships coming in from Asia, trucking, everything. So it was shut down there for a couple months, and now there's this huge backlog. And of course you got everybody importing. I mean, you think about like Walmart, they're probably bringing in multiple.
They have their own ships. This point.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it's like, so there was some stuff we had for Prime Day that got stuck at the port for 2 weeks because the port was so busy down in LA that our warehouse couldn't even make an appointment to pick up our container.
Wow.
It just sat there for 2 weeks. And of course, you pay your supplier in terms of usually like a 30% deposit and then a 70% balance upon arrival in the port. Sometimes it depends, as you build that relationship, maybe you can have better terms,
right.
To where once you actually have it in stock. So a lot of times you're out 100% of the cash, of your cash flow into that container, and it's not even for sale yet. So you don't even start seeing the return for and like delays like that are crushing because you're like, oh my gosh, I'm out all this money, but nothing's happened. It's not coming back.
So that's something you really have to manage in your
really
business.
Have to manage. That's the most difficult part, I would say, is inventory management and logistics.
Yeah. Oh, I was thinking like cash flow management.
Cash flow management.
Yeah. It's like like you said, it's an investment. So if you're like graphing it, and then you start seeing the return, it's like in a totally different spot on the timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you place a deposit, and I think most goods are going to take at least a month to make, no matter what it is. There's probably things that are faster and things that are slower, and then another month at sea. So you're looking at 60 days, maybe more, maybe 90 days.
Does it take them that long to ship it across the Pacific?
Yeah, it takes about a month.
And that's so interesting.
So
man.
It can take, realistically right now.
How long before they just start jetting stuff over?
You can do that. There's air freight.
Sounds super expensive.
Super expensive, and that's also why I think people sell lighter, cheaper stuff because, like I said, like the phone case, they can put 10,000 units in one box.
Do you pay by weight or what?
For air you pay by weight and cubic space, I believe. Whereas with sea is just space, like it's
containers.
It's a container,
yeah.
And you could like a 40-foot container has a flat rate. And of course it adjusts on market pricing, but you could put a feather in there, or you could fill it with
lead,
and it would be the same price. So you're always trying to maximize every little inch in there. But it's definitely more consistent, so you can really project better. But yeah, I would say logistics and all that it's a nightmare. I didn't expect that. And with COVID, so you got all the logistics slow down, and then Amazon's limiting what you can send in right now. They don't normally you can send in basically as much as you want of anything, but because they're
to their fulfillment
centers. So we get the inventory, it sits in our warehouse. And then we create fulfillment orders into Amazon to stock it in Amazon. And they're limiting what you can send in. So, I might be able to project like, we're going to sell 5,000 units for Christmas. But like they're only letting us send in 2,000. So we can send in 2,000 right now. And then as they sell, your limits get back up again.
It's like a balance.
It's a balance. So you're constantly sending stuff in. Which there's always that human error of delays,
and then you have to pay more attention to it because you're like
pay more attention to it,
monitoring this balance now instead of just sending them this bulk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then it's kind of like this weird balance of I only have a couple thousand in stock, and if I do a bunch of marketing and I sell out, am I going to break even on the marketing costs?
Right.
What's the point if it's going to sell out? It's very complex.
Do your Amazon orders get stuffed with any sort of I don't want to say coupon, but any sort of like promotional like paper
insert cards?
Yeah. There you go. Sorry.
Yeah. No, we have an insert card in there. There's 2.
Oh, so they're already in the Dragon box.
They're in the box.
So everybody gets those.
Everybody gets them.
Oh, okay, that's smart.
So for right now, I think we change it up, but right now it's there's a warranty card, so it tells you where to go to our website to sign up for our warranty. There's a coupon SMS, so they text in, they get a coupon. And then there's like a little catalog kind of showing our other products. And that's something I'm still working on, trying to create like really good. I've seen some really creative ones from other companies. They do some really interesting inserts, like they have scratchers and all kinds of stuff.
Oh, nice.
How much did you use YouTube to learn a lot of this stuff, and how much did you just dig in and?
Yeah, that's a lot of people ask me that about how do you get started, how do you learn, and I think. There's so much free content out there on
it's
YouTube.
Not all good, right?
It's not all good, and when I started, it was pretty good, and I think it was enough to get me started. There's courses and things now, and I know there's a couple good ones, but there's also a lot of kind of scammy ones, way overpriced. But I think you can learn most of it for free, honestly.
That's so empowering. That's incredible, right?
I didn't spend $1 on courses.
Wow.
Basically.
Or coaches or anything.
Or coaches, yeah. I mean, I have a mentor now, but that's more like a general business mentorship.
Kind of like a business coach in general.
Yeah.
That's smart.
And it's like his expertise isn't necessarily in e-com, but he knows, how, because at some point it's a real business and it's a real, and you sell on, it's online, but there's still fundamentals you have to, even like accounting and all that stuff. That's another critical skill. If I could actually go back in time and go back to school. So my major was in marketing, right? Kind of a marketing advertising. I wish I would have been an accounting major because I think that's the skill that I use more than anything. Because I do my own books too, at least for now. And I think that's really good to know your numbers because that's everything in a business is knowing your numbers. And having good insert cards is important. That drives conversion in a way that you get their email, get their text, and you can communicate with them because Amazon also hides customer data. So you can't actually, and you're not allowed to email them after a sale. And you can't even see their address or anything anymore. You used to be able to like download all that and see where who's buying from where and all this stuff.
So that's recent in the past couple of years that they got?
I think within the last year.
Oh, wow.
And I think they're going to move even more and more to protecting that. Yeah. And Amazon, when you sell something on Amazon considers it an Amazon customer. Right. It's not your customer.
Right.
And there's a bit of a fight with that, I think, especially with all the...
Yeah, it's like, are you a marketplace or are you a general store?
Yeah.
Right.
And
that's a difference.
And the argument there is they sell their own products.
Are you a retailer?
A retailer.
Are you a retailer or are you a marketplace?
Right.
Well, they're definitely a marketplace.
Yeah.
So that is an interesting.
Yeah, and they're also a retailer because they sell their goods right next to us. But so does Walmart and so does Target. They have their own private label brands right next to you buy Crest toothpaste or you can buy Walmart brand toothpaste.
And it's the same.
And it's right there. Yeah. It's a lot of times it's identical. So it's interesting. I in a way I feel like Amazon's being a little unfairly targeted that way because all these big box retailers have been doing this for decades.
Right.
But they also have more control over what people see because of there's shelf space like on a big box retailer. So
well, that's what I was talking about with the Amazon Prime commercials.
Right.
Like they're not running ads for other brands.
Yeah.
Well, they might be, but it's almost like the strategic partnership where because like the Amazon logo is all over the ad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like you're gonna buy it from Amazon.
Yeah.
They're really cramming that down your throat. And it's like, okay, I see why you give a free, content platform.
Yeah.
Like, why else would you? Other than to build audience.
Well, what's that quote? It's like, if it's free, you're the product.
If it's free, you're the product.
Yeah.
Or exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like Facebook.
Right.
So people, watch The Social Dilemma. And I haven't even watched it yet, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But either way, people are like, oh, my gosh. Like, they realize they're the product. And you're like, this has always been the case.
It has been, yeah.
Right.
It was interesting when I first started because I was running Facebook ads a couple years ago on my own, and I hadn't really ever done that. And I was looking at the targeting data on Facebook. I was like, oh my god! You start to realize you can target. I mean, it's insane how much data. And I don't know how much that's changed. I don't really do it as much anymore, but
yeah. And so I don't know. Arguments aside, I don't want to talk about what Facebook's evil or not. I'm not interested in that conversation. All I'm saying is their advertising platform is incredibly robust. It's incredibly useful. And if you own a business, you should consider using it for your own benefit.
Absolutely. Especially for local businesses.
Yes.
Dude, getting people to the meetup, I would throw $20 on a Facebook ad to advertise the meetup. And it would seriously get so many people RSVP'd. Yeah. And I would target against you can target just against interests, right? So
Right.
I feel like if you're interested in Gary Vee,
Yeah.
you know, like
Yeah,
Cardone,
yeah,
like
yeah.
any prominent entrepreneur that you're likely
Yeah.
to see on the internet,
Right.
any of that, any widely known entrepreneurship books,
Right.
I load all those in there, and
Yeah.
it's like you're getting the people that would be interested in that.
And that's where it's really powerful. It's been a little more of a challenge. You know, you figure like, okay, we're going to target people that like whiskey, like
There you go.
Jack Daniels. But are they necessarily buying the glasses?
Right.
Maybe. A lot of times we found that it's their wife that ends up buying it for their husband because their husband doesn't care. He's using some old nasty glass he's had for 10 years. And
Right.
his wife's tired of seeing that. And she goes on, she sees them on Amazon like, oh, you know, my husband will love those. And she gives it to him and he ends up liking them. But he would have never purchased that for himself.
Right.
So that's been kind of the challenge.
Right, like how do you get the spouse of the person who is interested in whiskey?
Yeah, or the main purchasing power in the household. That's and that's I think it really depends on the business, but I think for
well, that's knowing your customer, right?
knowing your customer.
So as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
So if you have a
the customer avatars and all that.
yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I was just gonna I don't even need to do it, but I was just gonna make up like an imaginary one. You know, but that's pretty common. You know,
Yeah.
like mothers with children under 3.
Yeah.
Like that's like a category you can select.
Yeah. And I think
You know?
for those kind of, because we're more of a gift, it isn't necessarily something that they're looking for initially. I think like, yeah, your example with the group, it's great because like that is someone who would absolutely be interested in that. Or even like baby products and things like that where you're targeting, okay, we need mothers that have kids under 3, so we're going to target them because our product services those kids, and like
Right.
I feel like
Right.
that's going to convert really well. Or you know,
Right.
dog product or pet products or something.
You might get away with these in some sort of like like people that are into like luxury brands.
Yeah, that's
I could see that working. Or at least that's where my mind goes. You know.
Yeah, it's a challenge. Something that we're still working on.
Are you able to tell? Okay, so I asked you about repeat customers. Have you focused at all on like what percentage of the pie repeat customers are compared to like new customers? Because it seems to be cheaper to have a repeat customer than
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, retargeting, and they know the brand already. It doesn't quite work that well, at least through Amazon ads, because you can't really they do have some retargeting, but it's not necessarily people that have already purchased. I would say it's mainly the best way that we retarget current customers are people that signed up for the warranty or people that are in the VIP group, because they've not only gone to our website and we know they have our products, they actually show interest enough to like join things or follow us on social media, like
Right.
on Instagram or something.
Right.
That's been a big thing, is just letting people know like, oh, we have a new product launch or something.
Right.
And those people are much more likely to check it out. So that's, and I guess for like kind of an Amazon-based business, that's kind of the best way to go about that.
Yeah. And I now that I'm thinking about the way I asked that question and then comparing it to like the fact that 80 to 90% of your sales are through Amazon.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh, wait a minute. We're talking about Facebook marketing, but you're not going to be doing that on Amazon because that's where most of your ad spend is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also retargeting from our own website because we can pixel them. Like I was saying before, you can't pixel on Amazon, unfortunately.
Right.
Which would be amazing if you could. Because, obviously we get way more traffic on our Amazon listing pages.
Well, it would
versus-
just rob. Of course,
Amazon
yeah,
would
they're-
not let you, because then you're like, oh, thank you for all this information. I'm going to drive them to my website
Yeah, and
now.
it's cheaper. Yeah, I can. I'll give you that coupon if you shop on our website.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's not in their best interest to do that for us.
Yeah.
So,
And it's a trade-off too, because the more you sell on Amazon, the better placement you get on Amazon. Because it's competitive with keywords. If you sell, if people are typing in whiskey glass and they find your listing and buy it, you just moved up a spot on whiskey glass keyword, which is like the high converting keyword.
That's a cool little fact there.
Yeah, it's very keyword based on Amazon. So there's short tail and long tail. And short tail is all like those real generic basic keywords like whiskey glass, cocktail glass, wine glass.
Right.
So those are the most competitive because it has the most search volume. But when people start typing in like whiskey glass for husband's birthday.
Right.
Oh, gosh.
Right.
Do people do that on Amazon?
They will, yeah, and because
Wow.
people they don't know what they're looking for, or they go like unique gifts for husband.
It kind of seems like something you'd put into Google.
It's basically a search engine now. That's
Whoa.
you got to think
It's
of
big enough
you think
to
of
where they-
Amazon as a search engine
Yeah.
basically. For people go on Google to look up facts or information, but people go on Amazon to shop.
That's wild.
And they type in the same kind of query.
See, this is why Bezos is worth hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
why Amazon's exactly. I mean, it's brilliant, and you can target those long tail keywords. So it might only get maybe 100 searches a month, but those are usually the ones that convert the
They're
best
just spot on.
because they're exactly what they're looking for. Like, oh, I want a double walled martini glass. Someone might type that in, and we're bidding on that keyword, I'm sure,
Right.
in one
Right.
of our campaigns. And someone types that in, they find that, and they buy it, and it's probably like a perfect conversion rate
Right.
versus like people clicking on the listing, and you're paying per click.
Right.
So they might click on it and then bounce. So you had to pay for that for them
Yeah.
to go to your listing, and if they're not going to convert, you just spent money for no reason.
What was the hardest part about getting to where you are now over the course of the past 4 years?
Probably learning the logistics and cash flow inventory, kind of like the
System of it?
the system of it.
Yeah.
Like the nuts and bolts parts of it. Learning freight, learning how to import things was a big learning curve because that's not something that I came in with any prior knowledge.
Yeah.
Because I worked for an ad agency and I've done marketing, and so I kind of know, okay, what's attractive, what's a good brand, like how to create a brand or how to create like
Right.
maybe
I think
like
that was a big point, like a big advantage for you.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think anybody can come in. I've seen people that have no business background, but like maybe they're like a soccer coach, and for their kids team or something, and they think of some product like, wow, during practice, the kids they would benefit from this invention,
Right.
and then they go,
Right.
you see those kind of products like on Shark Tank or something,
right,
where it's
right.
like kind of like a, there's got to be a better way kind of product.
Yeah.
That's like the
Well, I was driving down the road in my minivan.
that's like the mommypreneurs,
Yeah.
like they create like all kinds of crazy stuff that you would never think of because they're in it every day.
Right.
Yeah, they just invented their own solution.
Their own solution.
Yeah.
And that's a great great advantage because, and not to mention that's a huge market, baby and pet and all that is an amazing market to get into. But I think having stuff made, finding the factory, having it imported, that's definitely the most challenging part. At least it was for me. I think when, like I said, if you have a good product, it's going to sell though. I think once you get a little bit of marketing, a little bit of awareness out there.
So, okay, short of paying for sponsored product placement on Amazon, you're tagging your product regardless, right?
Tagging it.
With the keywords.
Yeah.
Okay, and so,
Yeah, you build that
When
with
you-
the title, the description, and then there's back-end keywords on the listing.
right.
So when you create a listing page on Amazon, they have like a search term field, and that's where you put all the stuff in.
Right.
And that helps the algorithm find it.
Right.
Right.
And so it's just when you're paying, you're just getting to the top result, the first result.
Yeah, it's that auction system. Yeah,
Yeah,
and depending
and
on
then-
how much you bid.
And then they probably break down for you the amount of sales that come from sponsored
Yes.
placements
Yeah.
versus
Very
organic
good,
placements.
Very good reporting there. You only see actual sponsored sales through the advertising platform.
Oh, okay.
So you can definitely see, and you can see what your return, your kind of your ROI was on that. And then you basically just figure anything else that's not on there was organic.
And have you ramped that up over time?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that's getting more and more expensive every year because it's becoming more competitive because there are
Right.
more products, there's more companies launching, there's more whiskey glasses than there were 3 years ago.
Right.
So you have to pay.
How much time do you spend focusing on differentiating yourself from quote unquote competition?
That's probably one of the main things you want to worry about. I would say differentiating yourself with first having a great unique product,
Right.
and then having great photography, great copy, video content.
Present it well.
Present it well. Yeah. There's sometimes it's funny. You'll see like some of the big brands on Amazon, even like a Samsung, and like they'll have just like horrible photography or a
Right.
horrible listings. Like they don't have because you could have I think
Like
it's
incomplete listings.
incomplete.
Like how do you even?
Or I've seen all kinds of huge public companies have these wonderful products that obviously sell really well at Walmart, and they're like the bare minimum on Amazon.
They're like Ottoman. And you're like, okay.
Yeah, no keywords. It's just like
Yep.
blah, and then like maybe one picture, and it's like like you have to we have
And it looks okay. So and it's detrimental, I'd imagine, because it's like it looks amateur.
it looks very amateur, and then I think customers are like, is this even from them, or is
Right,
this
and
a
then
counterfeit
like
product?
especially people who know it's a marketplace, they're
Yeah.
like, "Who's making this?
Yeah.
Where's this coming from? Like,
Yeah.
where do they?" It's like it feels like you're buying something that was stolen, like you're
Yeah.
buying something on Craigslist that was stolen.
Right, and that's also one of the cool things about Amazon too. Is like here I am like I'm competing right next to all the big guys. Like in my space. There might be like some huge like one of the big glass manufacturers is Libby, and they're huge, like the huge multinational company, and my glasses are right next to them on placement.
Oh, that's very special.
And that's really cool. And I think customers, Amazon customers, they gravitate towards smaller brands too, because they know not only will they get like a unique different product, but like probably a really good customer service experience. Like that's huge too.
Well, in terms of conversion, you could be converting way better or at a higher rate than Libby.
We had a deal of the day placement. We had 2 this year so far. We had one in February, but it's basically front page Amazon.com. You go to the front page, and we were right there.
Wow.
And they usually have 2 or 3 other deals of the day going on.
Wait, did you say you sign up for that? How does that work?
So
how do you like qualify?
We have an account manager that you basically have to. We're part of this program with Amazon where we have an account manager. We have to pay extra for it, but she's able to submit our brand to the deals team to get deal of the day. It's very complicated, and there are a lot of qualifications. You got to have like a certain review rating and trailing, I think 90-day sales.
Yeah,
and all
they
this
don't
stuff.
they don't want to be pushing deal of the day products and have it turn out poorly for their customers.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's extremely difficult to get.
Because then you're like, oh, forget those deal of the days. They're just offloading all their crap.
Yeah.
They don't want that.
No, they're very picky too, and they
Yeah.
won't run stuff that's similar to other things that have run recently. And you got to have the sales back. I mean, I just now qualified for it this year because because of the sales and our track record. And it was kind of a trial, but we were up there. There was 2 others, and one of them was Under Armour
Oh,
on the
wow.
same day as us, and we blew them away.
Oh, that's crazy.
Like we took top placement. And here I am competing against Under Armour. It's
That's
like
amazing.
It's like what? Like
Dude.
that
So-
shows the power of it, though.
So I was about to ask, how did deal of the day go, and then how did Prime Day go?
So Deal of the Day is huge. That's way bigger than Prime Day. Prime Day it was kind of weird this year because it was in October. It was just this week, I think, right?
Isn't
Right.
it normally
It's 2
earlier?
weeks.
It's in July normally.
Yeah.
Right.
But because of the pandemic and all that, they got postponed. In July, it's great because it's kind of in retail, that's the slow time is the summer.
So it kind of gives everybody a little bump
little lift, like a little cash flow lift.
because it just everybody's face is buried in their Amazon app.
Yeah. They're
let's see what deals are
they're
out
on the
there.
beach and
Yeah.
it's like
Like,
and then
honey, it's Prime Day.
yeah.
Just
It's for Prime Day. I've found that it's more for people looking for deals for essentials. Like people might stock up on.
like I want a vacuum cleaner.
they want a vacuum cleaner. They want
Yeah.
like a toothpaste for the whole year.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like a gifting. Black Friday, Cyber Monday is crazy.
It
Because,
reminds me of a Black Friday thing.
yeah, it's like that. But I think for Black Friday, it's great because we are a gift company in a lot of ways. So people are like, oh, that's perfect. I need something for my boss. Like those are great. I'll get those.
Right.
And those are good. Those are usually 3 to 4x a normal day, I would say, which is great. Deal of the day is like 30,000% better.
You're
Wow.
just like
Deal of the day can be, I mean, the thing with physical products, I tell people that you don't think about compared to like a digital or like a service, you can only sell as much as you have in stock.
Right.
Like you can't just, if you only
Right.
have 1,000 glasses, that's all you can sell.
yeah. There's
You
no such thing as back ordering.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's not like you're selling like an ebook that could sell millions of copies in a day or something, which is a good thing and a bad thing with physical products. But you can easily do the potential on Deal of the Day is crazy. I think you could do basically an entire year's sales in one day if you had the stock.
Well, here's why. Think about the insane attention that the Amazon app has.
And your front page
On your
placement.
front page right there.
I mean, that's one of the
with
most
a
trafficked.
headline of deal of the day.
Yeah, and it's like it was the whiskey glass or the diamond glass that was featured. So it's like Amazon.com search bar, and then right below it, diamond glass, like deal of the day, and it was like save 40% on Dragon Glassware,
Right.
and it's just like
That's probably one of the most valuable things that's ever happened.
It wasn't crazy. And so we've had 2 this year. Had one a month ago.
You're like, sign me up
Sold out.
as much as possible.
Yeah, you can do it 4 times a year.
You're like whining and dining your Amazon agent.
Oh, it's yeah.
You're like, hey, Stacy, how many of these things do you want?
Yeah, it's
so
crazy.
funny.
It's crazy. There's a lot of prep work because we had to like front load all this inventory, and then it kept getting delayed.
Right.
With
So,
COVID,
yeah.
And you have to discount. It has to be your best price. It's very legit. Like a lot of times, some of these sales, even Prime Day sales, can be kind of not necessarily the best deal of the year. But they make you for deal of the day. It has to be your best price in the trailing 365. Wow. And if you ever lower it, you have to match that again next time.
Okay, so you have to be careful.
You have to be very careful with your margin, because if you discount it even more
Then
later
you could be
on,
taking a loss on something that could potentially be massive for you.
Yeah.
Oof.
And there's one product we have that we had discounted it heavily for a sale like last year at some point. And it was kind of an issue where we thought, oh, it's not going to sell. It's not a winner. We're just clearancing it basically.
Right.
But then it turned out to be very popular. All of a sudden,
you needed more time.
It needed more time, and that's something I've learned too. Where sometimes it takes time,
But now you can't use that. Essentially, you wouldn't use that.
Well, it's still showing.
Oh, it's only a year, right?
It's a year.
Okay.
So yeah, I have to. I don't know when it expires, but the 365 price on it is really really low,
Oh, no.
and it's like break even or even a loss.
Oh,
so
man.
it's like it's not even worth selling until that time relapses again. So,
What about flash deals?
yeah, there's lightning deals, there's 7-day deals.
Oh, I was thinking about lightning deals.
Yeah,
I suppose
those are pretty good.
I feel like I bought my phone for like
From a lightning deal.
yeah. I have like an essential phone.
I
I feel like I bought it for like $220 or something.
Yeah, those are good.
Like
Those
2 years ago.
Those you can sign up for those. Those are usually self-service on Amazon.
What does that mean?
Meaning you can just do it yourself through the dashboard.
Oh, okay,
on,
nice.
On Seller Central.
You don't need an agent.
No, there's a fee. I think it's like $150 or something to run it, something like that. It kind of depends. Those are okay.
It's interesting all the ways that Amazon can make a few bucks.
And you got to be careful too, because I don't want to be seen as like a discount brand. You know,
Right.
I don't want to be running deals. It's kind of tricky because Prime Day this year was in October, and then literally a month later is Black Friday. And it's like a deal, and it's like I don't want to have all these deals all the time.
Yeah, but you'll take deal of the day.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
it's just so much. I mean,
Well, it's
even
great.
though have a thinner margin,
Yeah.
usually the volume is.
The volume is the cash flow turnover is crazy, and it gets you all these new customers that have never seen your products before that might necessarily ever search for whiskey glass on Amazon.
Right.
You got, I mean, everybody goes on the app, the front page first.
Right. So assuming you keep growing, Dragon Glassware keeps growing, and your profits keep getting bigger and bigger. Let's just call it year over year. Just generally, whatever that means. I don't care about how steep it is. Where are you thinking that you're going to be reinvesting?
I'm always reinvesting, really.
I suppose in what area? I'm thinking like, are you thinking in product development? Are you thinking just ramping up ads even more?
Yeah, both. I mean, you think about how do you grow a business like this? You either increase sales on existing inventory, which is part of it, so maybe ad spend, and then the other is adding new products. So actually, we're adding 10 more products this year for Christmas, which is like we're practically doubling the amount of products that are for sale right now.
Whoa! And those are not listed yet. Anywhere.
Not listed yet. Not yet. They're still they're coming. That's like the coasters.
That's a lot, man.
The coasters is one. The iridescent and the cannabis decanter. So and then there's a margarita glass. There's bunch of other stuff coming.
You're busy.
Really busy. So, but it's fun because it's like it's kind of limitless with this. There we go. It's limitless with this type of product because it's not like a one-hit wonder where you have like one thing and that's all it does. It's like you can really go crazy. Like there's so many. That's been the goal, is to have something for every type of beverage.
And you have a beautiful brand to kingpin this all new products on.
Yeah, I think that's crucial because it's like the brand really just represents good customer service or good and support. You know, like that's something I've really focused on was making sure customers are spending their hard-earned money on our stuff,
Right.
and if something comes broken, I'm not going to give them the runaround. Like I'm going to, we're going to take their word for it and send them a replacement.
Yeah,
like,
you'd be like, it'll be there soon.
like that's how it's got to be. Like you can't be, judging people for, thinking that they're faking it or lying about something being defective or broken or whatever.
Okay, let's talk about returns that are not related to broken stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't imagine it's that common for you, but I know in experience I've bought things from Amazon before and I've gone to make a return and they're just like, forget it, just keep it. Like it's logistically not worth you returning it, so just keep it. They don't say it like that.
Yeah.
They just say, hey, you know what? This one's on us.
I would say, in general,
Those are obviously lower priced items.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not like...
Well, when customers make returns on Amazon, it's usually it's through Amazon.
Right.
So we don't actually see any
Deal
of that.
with it.
We so if someone gets the glasses, they just don't like them. There are people that just they just don't like them,
Right.
like for whatever reason, or they want the money back because they need it for something else.
Yeah, but you'll get the data about that, but you're not going to do the work.
I'm not. Yeah, they contact Amazon and they just do it self-help through Amazon's order page, and then they'll just return it, and then returns come back to us, and then we'll we just have them that way.
Right.
The other alternative is in the box. There's in the insert card. It's if they arrive broken, if there's some issue, contact us first before you return it, because like you were saying, it's better for us to just send them a replacement. Mm-hmm. Like if one glass comes broken, it's more cost efficient for us to send them a replacement,
right,
than for them to return it, because we lose the whole sale. On Amazon, you lose the sale, and you're also out they charge the sellers the return fee.
Right.
So they don't actually. You lose all the fees, and you lose. I don't remember. It depends on the size and stuff, but they charge you. So it ends up being a loss versus it ends up being cheaper just sending them replacements. Plus, you have a happy customer too.
Right.
Yeah,
and
it's
it's a better
double
customer
win-win.
because you a lot of times you'll get your best reviews from customers that are unhappy first, and then you wow them.
So you get the option to just send them another one.
They'll contact us. There's a messaging system on Amazon, or they'll email our support. And then we can be like, I'm so sorry this happened. We'll be happy to send you a replacement. Can you provide us with your mailing address if we don't have it? Because we can't see it on Amazon.
Right.
Just through our Shopify site, it's really easy.
Right.
We're just like, okay, yeah, well, and then they give us their mailing address. Then we send them out the replacement. Either a full set if things broken, or if it's just one, we'll send them one.
Right.
And follow up with them and give them a tracking number and all that.
What sort of monitoring do you do between your Shopify store and your Amazon store? In terms of are you logging in every day? Do you have some sort of routine where you're like, I'm going to check my Shopify store and just see if there's any X, Y, or Z's going on?
Yeah. So on Amazon, the messaging system's pretty easy to use.
Probably tied into your email.
It's tied in. Yeah. You get an email alert. It's on the dashboard. That's where the customer service person comes in. They check it periodically throughout the day.
So Amazon must have thousands of these people.
Well, this is just for us. But a lot of customers won't email us. They'll just email Amazon, because Amazon has their own chat and they can do it that way. But we prefer if they contact us, because it's a way better experience.
Right.
Because Amazon, it's usually outsourced people.
Right. Well, it's nice that they give you that option.
They give you that option, and that's why we have the insert card too. It's like email us first. We also have when someone buys something, they get an automatic email from us through the Amazon messaging system. Mm-hmm. So there's a click here if you have problems, and then it creates the messaging.
Oh, nice.
And then through Shopify or any other platform that we sell, we have just our support email, and that's all run through Zendesk. So we're able to just log into Zendesk and see all of our tickets, and then just have an agent that they basically do both. They can do. It's easy to do Amazon and Zendesk to just respond to tickets that way.
Oh.
And there's also a chat on the website, I believe, right now.
Okay.
So they can do a live chat too.
Like an intercom or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. Wow, man, that's a lot in 4 years. I feel like how. Okay, so what I'm trying to give people a sense of is how long. Okay, so it's at one point, did you ever, if you ever wanted to say screw this, I want to be out, and then kind of similar to that, how long did it take before, after you started really kind of developing and working at it, to get your first sale? You know what I'm saying? And you're like, oh, do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't really remember the first sale anymore. The first product was the diamond glass, actually.
You really built everything around that. It's your most popular, and it was the first.
Well, the Genesis was a tea infuser bottle.
Oh, that's right.
I think I told you about that before.
Yeah.
I bought something similar on Amazon, and I was like, wow, this would be such a cool product if they changed this and this and this. And I was like, well, I can maybe see if I can do this. And at the time I was looking to maybe start an online business.
Right.
And then that's what led me down the rabbit hole. I found a factory that could make it, and it was I was like, wow, okay. While they were working on that, I was like, oh, there's all these other things we can make in glass.
And do you still sell those?
So we've had issues with them. They're not for sale right now. We're kind of doing a 2.0 version.
Oh, cool.
But that's one that I have a patent on too.
Wow.
That was issued last year. So yeah, I'm very incentivized to get it back up there. Yeah. It's very popular too. Like the people love it, and they've been asking for it. But it's not quite. That's the most complicated product. There's lots of moving pieces to it.
Right.
The nice thing about glass too is it's one color, so you don't have any variations except for maybe size.
Right.
And there's no moving pieces. When you have, I know like electronics and all things have all kinds of issues.
Things plugged into each other. And
yeah,
like
more defects, stuff like that.
Right.
So I think
tolerances are like super like tiny.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, and there was an issue like with leaking with one of the lids because it has all these pieces to it.
Right.
But
I have 4 kids, so I could attest to that with the little sippy cups.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always like there's a weird thing with seals. So we're trying to find a really good. What makes it special is it's glass with a plastic flip top lid, and that seal between the glass and the lid has been kind of Sometimes if the glass is a little, because these are all handmade, right. So if there's any little bit of variance to it, it'll leak. Because liquid will find the easiest way out.
Can you define handmade for something like this? Like so
they're not machine pressed, like things like a Coke bottle would be like on like a machine where they're just spitting out from a mold basically 10,000 units an hour.
Yeah, they just have like molten glass and then like a thing that like stamps.
Yeah, if you go on YouTube, there's all kinds of cool videos of that. Okay. These aren't necessarily hand blown, but they're hand crafted on a line, and they're actually there is a mold.
That's interesting.
But they are made not from like a machine that way though.
Right.
And like some of our best people do the double wall. That's kind of their specialty. They know how to actually make, because like I've had a lot of trouble even finding any factory maybe like in the US that can make double walled glass. It's very tricky. It's very difficult.
I can imagine.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it's kind of a crazy, technology.
Yeah, the beer one's pretty cool. It's like very Super Bowl-ish.
Yeah,
that's like the ones you bust out on the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. We actually have a bowl. It's like a cereal soup bowl or ice cream. And it's double walled, and it's really cool because it keeps it. So like
insulated.
So you put ice cream in, it doesn't melt as fast, and then it looks really cool because you can see the contents and so. And I eat a lot of soup, so I'll put like soup in it and microwave it, and you can just take it out. And it's not hot.
Wow, nice.
Because how times you'll take soup out of either like off the stove.
It happened to me yesterday. I could like
and
barely.
And you're like, oh my god, it's so hot. And
you're like burning your thumbs.
You're burning your thumbs. Yeah, it completely protects your hand, so you can just hold it like So that was something that
that was like a kind of incidentally wonderful benefit.
Yeah. And that's something that I thought of because that's something I do in my daily life. There's there's so many products. I think everybody has one good product in them. Kind of like how that quote, like everybody has one good novel in them.
Right. Yeah.
I think everybody has one good product in them that they, no one else has thought of potentially, and it's something based directly on their life or their lifestyle.
Huh.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I think now more than ever, going back to the Alibaba. You can get things made, like you don't have to. It's not as complicated necessarily as anymore. You have to do a little bit of legwork, but I think, if you are diligent enough, you can find a factory or somebody to make it for you, at least make a prototype for you.
How much has patience played into your success?
That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
Patience and just waiting for containers and logistics is. Like I said,
like it's gonna get here. I just have to do other shit in the meantime.
Yeah. It takes like the cannabis decanter. We've been working on that for a year and a half because we've gone through all these molds and it wasn't quite perfect. And then there's also the time they'll make samples, then they'll express mail it to me like FedEx. I check it, I might find an issue, send it back.
When are you gonna list that?
That should hopefully be for Christmas. I don't think it's gonna make Black Friday, but I think it'll make.
And you won't have any problem selling that on Amazon.
No, because you can't sell marijuana drug paraphernalia products.
Right, but
you can sell in the shape. You can sell like a marijuana T-shirt.
Right.
So that's fine. So,
but if it helps you smoke pot, it's not going to sell.
Exactly. Yeah, any type of drug, anything that helps you with drugs, or you can't sell.
They promote the hell out of it.
Even I think even like cigarettes, they're very it's very, even tobacco based things I think might be difficult on there. You can't advertise. Same with sex products, I think, like sex toys and stuff. You can't advertise them through Amazon PPC, I believe. I'm pretty sure.
You can get them listed, just not. You can't run ads.
You can't run ads to them, so you have to do outside ads. So there's certain.
I wonder
categories.
if there's just I wonder if there's federal laws involved.
It's usually a federal law issue.
Because it has to do with banking, and you're paying us for this type of thing, and then
yeah, there's all kinds of weird things with that. But I know certain categories are actually. We've had a lot of issues. Alcohol is another thing. You can't sell alcohol on Amazon.
Right.
So the problem is sometimes the algorithm will pick up our keyword like whiskey glass and ban it. It's whiskey. And it's like, no, it's not.
You're
it's
manual override.
And they have to get whitelisted a lot with our account manager. And we had an issue on Deal of the Day. Actually, the decanter set didn't show on Deal of the Day because of that. I think the either one of their bots or something picked up some keyword it didn't like.
Come on, Stacy, get your bots in order.
It's really so that's been a weird thing too, because it's it's a beer glass, but it's not beer.
It's literally just glass.
It's literally just glass. But the bots and the AI machine learning stuff isn't smart enough. You have to determine the differences there.
Dude, I welcome the day when AI rocks and just totally helps improve your life.
Yeah, I think Amazon's on the cutting edge of that stuff. And have you ever toured around their fulfillment centers? You probably can't now.
Isn't there one in Elk Grove?
There's one in Sac. There's one out by the airport.
Mm-hmm.
Up on 5? What it goes out to Woodland there.
Yeah. Really cool. Hopefully they'll open that up again soon, because they had just opened tours right before COVID.
So it's a new one.
It's pretty new, and they have all kinds of robotics there, and all. It's really interesting.
I've seen the ones. I think they're it was Alibaba's warehouses where it's the whole floor. It's like robots on a grid.
Yep, that's Amazon has the same thing.
And then they got holes in the ground or something
to show the little lines and.
Yeah, and the robots were dropping packages into the holes, which I think goes down a chute.
Oh, that's cool.
To sort things or something like that. I'm just running off memory, but it was cool.
I think Amazon, there's Amazon corporate and all the stuff they're doing there, and then there's the fulfillment centers, which is their other half of their retail business. And I think they're going to go more and more towards automation for everything, because they still have a lot of people there that are doing picking and packing and stuff, and I think eventually their goal is really to have that completely automated.
Just have robots do it.
Everything. Yeah, I think that's their long-term goal on that.
Kind of makes sense. I mean, you're literally just moving stuff and putting it in a designated place.
Yeah.
You could program all of that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're getting there. And I think this year they said they opened 60 million more square footage of fulfillment center. I mean, they're everywhere.
Wow.
Like California has I think 30 fulfillment centers now or something across the state.
Crazy.
Every state I think has at least one now.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty wild, and that's
the fact that I live out in the sticks and I can still get something 2 days shipped.
Yeah, well that's why, because the proximity you are, and each fulfillment center has its own kind of specialty. I think the one in Sac is small and light products, even smaller than mine, like keychains and all kinds of stuff. Or
little
soap,
trinkets,
little trinkets and stuff. And then there's bigger ones that there's also that they do bikes or big fridges and stuff like that.
Right.
It kind of makes sense to design the whole warehouse to accommodate a certain size.
Yeah, it's pretty miraculous, really. When you think about what they've done with that, it's
super intricate.
That's why they're the market leader on that. I mean, it's kind of like Tesla, where how Tesla is so far ahead on the EV race.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Today, maybe even actually, the Tesla thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm what is it like to be inside Elon Musk's head? And from a business standpoint,
yeah.
And he has bigger goals than just having the business.
Right.
I've talked to Charlie and I've talked about how it's his businesses are just a means to a different end.
Oh,
he's trying to get to Mars, and you need money.
Right.
So you're gonna have a money making machine,
it's
which we
proof
call
of concept stuff.
Yeah, and it generates the money too.
Well, Tesla in a way is all the drivers are beta testers for automated driving. You know,
Right.
like that's his real goal with that, is he wants to have like a whole taxi system or just everything driverless cars. Basically.
Right, and even that, and like Mars rovers type thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do they need? They need data. And how do you get data? You have human drivers.
Yeah, to
Right.
produce it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, millions of people driving and logging data, all that stuff's collected.
Yeah. Well, and then from a business standpoint, like I was about to say, is like I imagine Elon Musk is thinking, which just all speculation, but I'm thinking something like, okay, well, since nobody really cares about electric cars, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna be the white space guy. You know, I'm gonna go into the white space. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna make a lot of money while everybody catches up.
Yeah.
There's no competition.
Yeah.
Like a Model S does not compare with a Nissan Leaf.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, the legacy automakers are so far behind. It's
Right.
It's gonna, and the big thing with Tesla is they have the supercharging network, which is, you know, because that's the big thing. It's like, okay, I buy an EV, but then you have range anxiety, you know, where you're like, oh, I might run out of power somewhere in the middle of nowhere. But it's like with Tesla, I think there's at least in California, you can't go more than like 50 miles until you find another supercharger.
Right.
And you can charge up in like, you know, 15, 30 minutes. And they're building that all across the United States. So it's like, you know, and I think that is probably the most valuable thing that they have, because all the other automakers are, you know, if you have a generic EV, you're going to have to find like an off-brand place like at a Walgreens or something, and it charges super slow to get your
Right.
car,
Right.
you know. So
an Amazon Basics charger.
yeah.
Can you imagine plugging in like a USB-C into your Tesla trying to charge it? You're like, well, at least they're on USB-C. Oh, man.
Yeah, I saw Amazon might be getting, there was a leak, or well, I guess it's not really a leak, but there was a job posting for their Amazon Care, which is like their healthcare program, which right now is only for employees, but they might be going into the healthcare space potentially.
Holy
and
smokes.
having and selling,
Dude,
health insurance.
I'm all like, okay, people are like, oh, you can't be in all these different, you know, irons and all these different fires. I'm like, dude, I don't care as long as they make it better for you.
That's what they're doing. I mean,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, who else is going to do it? You know, and I mean, yeah, that's such a huge discussion, like anti-competitive stuff, and you know, and the growth of big tech is crazy.
Well, it's weird because it's like if you get big, it's like if you were to get big enough as a corporate, like a body of people that all work together under a certain name.
Yeah.
At some point, it's like, well, you're kind of like more. It's like at one point, is it like communist? You know, where you like one giant
Right.
unit.
The full means of production.
Yeah,
You know, it's like the,
like that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like if Amazon literally got to the point, I guess that's why those laws exist,
Right.
right? So it's like
right.
you can't like make a like in a sense, and like I shouldn't be talking about communism and like economics and stuff. Like I'm no freaking expert on that at all, by the way, people. But it's just I don't know. My mind started to wander down that
Yeah.
road. Like okay, well they're in marketplace, web services,
Yeah.
right? Healthcare potentially.
Yeah.
It's like, dang, dude. Amazon is going to have a self-driving car. Like, how could they not?
It's interesting because when I started the business and starting on Amazon, I remember nobody knew who was the CEO of Amazon. I don't know. And now Bezos is like a household name.
right.
And
right.
that's changed within like a couple it's It's just crazy how much
It's
that's
interesting.
That's
Yeah, because
changed.
it's like Bill Gates, richest man in the world.
It's like it's weird how rapid their growth is.
Well, it's like freaking hockey stick,
Yeah.
you know, exponential stuff.
And you know, it ties in with the decline of retail, you know, in terms of physical brick and mortar, and then of course with COVID-19, it's really just accelerated everything, which is really, you know, it's interesting. So in a lot of ways, it was good timing that I had an online business, I
Right.
guess,
Yeah, no
because
kidding.
people and a home, home and kitchen, you know, what are people buying right now? They're buying stuff that they can do at their home,
Yeah.
you know, or do at home. And I think there's so much limitless opportunity with kitchen products or like home improvement or self improvement. You know, I know like
Good products.
Good products, yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see where.
Oh, that's taboo. Sorry.
It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with retail over the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
And I know like a lot of the smart ones are pivoting more and more online. But you know, I would say if you're not online, definitely get on. You know,
Yeah,
get
no
a store. Yeah, it's because it's gonna be brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially, I mean, it's case in point was this whole year. It's just been like, hey, guess what? You can't be in person. figure it out. You know, it's like, okay, well, that's going to happen more and more just by people's choices, and you kind of got a test run because of a pandemic. So, you know, maybe think about that in the future.
Yeah.
You know,
And I think that's the case even with maybe food and, you know, restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
You guys know about cloud kitchens? Have you heard of that? Where people they basically rent a warehouse space, and it's kind of an industrial. They turn it into an industrial kitchen, and they list their business on like DoorDash. And they're a restaurant, but they only do DoorDash and Grubhub and all these
They're just
places.
doing takeout.
They just do takeout.
Yeah.
And you can staff it with just, you know, cooks, no
What
servers.
is this called? With the
It's called Cloud Kitchens, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not really like it's
I see where they got that term. It's like, oh, I'm putting my kitchen on the cloud.
yeah, and it's not, there's not actually, and they brand it like it's like this place you could go down the street and walk into, but it's not. It's all just.
Now, is that just like an industry slang term?
It might actually be the official kind of terminology for that now.
Oh, so they might be platforming.
Yeah, and
They might be like hooking you up with the space.
and I've seen some people, they'll have their one warehouse kitchen, but then they have 5 brands. Like they're cooking American
Why
burgers.
not? Nobody's
they're cooking
coming in.
Chinese. They're cooking pizza, and
Yeah.
and each one has its own brand.
Right.
And they just you know, on DoorDash or whatever, and they are marketing it separately.
Because the customers aren't coming.
They don't know.
The delivery people are.
Right.
right. That's
it's-
brilliant.
And the overhead cost is like negligent.
Right.
And
I love that. Just rethinking the way that the end result can happen.
yeah, I think there's like a lot of innovation in all kinds of different industries now. But I was gonna say, if I was gonna be like a restaurateur, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
No
I
kidding.
think that'd be really cool. And you kind of, you know, you figure like it's like real estate, like on Amazon. You know, if you blanket it with, you know, if I had 10 other whiskey glasses, I would dominate that whiskey glass page, and it's like it's all my products, and you just, it's real estate. Same with like a DoorDash. If you have a bunch of different restaurants on DoorDash, that's just more and more real estate for you to get eyeballs.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty smart.
Heck yeah, man. How long do we go?
We're at an hour 30 right now.
Oh,
Let's
wow.
wrap it up. We did.
Okay.
We killed it. That was
Yeah.
that was packed though, dude. That was good. That was a good episode. Thanks for letting me drink out of this martini glass.
Yeah,
You know, I just
yeah, you can keep it.
filled it. Really?
Yeah. Why don't you guys want to keep all of them?
Well, sure. Why
Deal.
not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'll
start.
I'll send you some more too.
Start
Sweet.
slinging these things around.
I'll send it to the address here.
Sweet. Awesome.
Freaking awesome, dude. It was so good to have you on the show today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Fist bump, man.
Yeah.